All right. Good afternoon. Today we're going to talk about parallel and perpendicular lines, and particularly about the slopes. So it's kind of an introduction to parallel and perpendicular. So parallel lines have the same slope. So all this means is that their lines are never going to cross. So parallel lines, same slope. Key thing here, guys, and I'm going to emphasize it multiple times throughout this section. We use the two straight up and down lines, bold lines, to represent parallel. So you'll occasionally see this symbol throughout. Okay, perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. All this means is if my slope is 2/3, well, its opposite reciprocal will be -3/2. So my fractions flipped and its opposite signs. With perpendicular, your slopes are going to be opposite signs and the fractions flipped. Okay, their lines are going to cross at a right angle. This is a symbol used occasionally for perpendicular lines. So just be aware that we use that. Okay, so we're going to determine if the slopes are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Also, we could use the word intersecting. So first thing I'm looking at, I've got a slope of 4 and a slope of 4. Are they the same? Yes. So they are parallel. My example 2, I've got 2/3 and -3/2. Okay, so they're not the same, but if we notice, okay, 3's on bottom there, 3's on top on this one. 2's on top there, 2's on bottom. So they are flipped fractions or reciprocals, and they're opposite signs. So they are perpendicular. Okay, finally, I've got 4/3 and 3/4. Now, my fraction is flipped, but they are not opposite signs. So these are neither parallel or perpendicular. Okay, so let's look here at looking at some graphs. Now, looking at graphs, it can be semi-easy to tell, but we're going to double check by checking their slopes. Okay, whether they're parallel, perpendicular, or just two intersecting lines, which would be our neither. So, graph 1 over here on the left side of the screen looks like it could be parallel, but let's verify that. So I'm going to pick 2 points and check my slope. So my rise is 2, my run is 1. So the green line has a slope of 2. Oops, let me rewrite that. And then we're going to check the blue line. Rise 2, run 1. So the blue line is also 2. So these lines are parallel. Okay? 2 lines that intersect, it's a little, you have to check their slopes before you say, yes, they're parallel, or yes, they're perpendicular. Because perpendicular means they have opposite reciprocal. So looking at the red line, I'm going to pick 2 points. One happens to be where they're crossing. So I'm going to go down 1 and right 2. So that's a -1/2 for the red line. And then for the blue line, I'll use that same cross point and this one, and we're going up 2 and over 1. So my slope for that line is 2/1 or 2. So are these perpendicular? Well, are they opposite reciprocals? So I have a -1/2 here and a +2 here. Remember, any whole number can be put over 1 to make it a fraction. So are these opposite reciprocals? Yes. We have a -1/2. We flip it, change the sign, and we would get a +2. So these are perpendicular. All right, let's look at the graph on the left. So looking at the graph on the left, I'm going to pick 2 points and count my rise, which is -1, and my run, which is 2. So the red line has a slope of -1/2 because I went down. Then looking at the purple line, I've got a point here and a point here. And I'm going to do rise of 1 and a run of 2. So its slope is 1/2. So I've got a -1/2 and a +1/2. Now these are opposites, but are they reciprocals? No, my fraction's not flipped on the second one. So these are intersecting lines. That's all they are. They are neither parallel nor perpendicular. All right, I want you to try the last graph on your own. And guys, I recommend you check your slopes before you decide whether they're parallel or perpendicular. All right, last thing we're going to look at is equations. Okay, I've got y equals 3x minus 4 and -6x plus 2y equals 4. So first thing I want to do is I want to put that second equation into slope-intercept form just to make it easier. We either want slope-intercept or point-slope form. Since the second one is in standard, we need to rearrange that. So first thing I do, add 6x. I get 2y is equal to 6x plus 4. Divide everything by 2. And I get y is equal to 3x plus 2. Okay, so first thing I want to do is look at what is the slope. So slope is the number in front of x. So highlighting that, is my slope the same on both of these? Yes. So these are parallel. All right, going to look at the second example here. I've got y equals 1/4 x. And I've got y minus 2 equals -4 times x minus 4. Okay, so I can pick out the slope fairly easy in both of these. Okay, so slope right here. And then my slope is right here. So first off, are they the same? No. So we already know they're not parallel. Are they opposite reciprocals? Well, 1/4, when I flip the fraction, becomes 4/1, and the opposite sign would be negative. So yes, these are opposite reciprocals, so they are perpendicular. Okay, so looking at this third and final example here, I've got 6x minus 3y equals 8, and y minus 4 equals 3 times x minus 4. Okay, so first one is in standard form, so I am going to have to rewrite that one. Second one is not, is in point slope form, so we can pick out our slope there. So let's take the 6x minus 3y equal to 8. I'm going to minus 6x on both sides. I've got -3y is equal to -6x plus 8. Now I'm going to divide everything by -3. And I get y is equal to 2x plus, or sorry, not plus, minus 8/3. In this case, we don't have to worry about our y-intercept being a fraction. It is possible to get that. So we're just going to ignore the y-intercept for this because we're not graphing. And I'm going to look at the slopes of both of these. So my slope here is 2, and my slope on this one is 3. So are they the same? No. They're not opposite reciprocals either, so these are intersecting lines. All right, and that is all I have. Oh, no, sorry, one more. Forgot I had one more example here. All right, so now we're going to talk about y equals 3 and x equals 5. Well, first off, let's just kind of look at what their graphs would look like for these, because I want you to remember y equals 3 is a horizontal line, and x equals 5 is our vertical line. Okay, so what is the slope of a horizontal line? Well, the slope is 0, and the slope of a vertical line is undefined. So anytime I have a y equals just a number and x equals just a number, these are perpendicular, okay? They are always going to cross at a right angle, which would make sense because we're talking about horizontal and vertical. When they cross, it will be a right. So if my slope is 0 of one line and my slope is undefined of the other, then they are perpendicular. All right, this is all I have for you guys, and I will see you in the next.